All right, guys, what's going on? Hope you guys are well. Hope you guys are staying safe. So, guys, we've got a prediction video here. Salman, this next week on Saturday, we've got a very, very, very big fight. A big fight which, in boxing is definitely draws a lot of attention. And, Canelo and Gennady Golovkin are made for each other. I mean, what a fight we've got on our hand next week. We've got a rocket. We've got a great fight. Canelo v Golovkin. Who are you favoring in that one?
I personally think Canelo. I think Canelo's young. He's fresh. I just think he's going to work the body, and I think he'll drain him, to be honest. And I think Golovkin's obviously now 40. I think with his age, I think later on in the fight he'll slow down, and I think Canelo might even stop him, to be honest.
No. I don't think Canelo will stop Gennady Golovkin.
I think if he doesn't stop him, he's going to take a lot of punishment, and maybe the referee jumps in and stops it, because from his last fight, if he fights anything like that, I think Canelo will put in the work against him, because I think Canelo's obviously a lot better than that Murata guy. But yeah, I think he'll look to do some real damage. Plus, he's got bad blood against him. He wants to really knock him out and put a dent in him.
Before we go into actually breaking down the fight, and before we actually go down to actually breaking down what this fight down, Salman, shut the door a sec. Shut the door. Before we get into it, sorry about this, guys. So Salman, before I get into this, before we get into the breakdown, I mean, Gennady Golovkin has a bitterness towards Canelo Alvarez. He feels that Canelo Alvarez has got what he deserved. He felt he won both those fights. How do you see it? What do you see about their rivalry? It's one of the best rivalries in the last 20 years. I mean, what fights as well. So, man, what do you make of all of that? Gennady Golovkin's beef towards Canelo Alvarez.
I think it was a wicked. I think both fights were a wicked fight, to be honest. I think Golovkin won the first one, and I probably thought Canelo won the second one by probably a round. But both of the fights were, close. It's just the way people view them, to be honest. But I think the first one, that was a robbery. I'm going to put that out there. That was a robbery. Because obviously Canelo's a much bigger draw. They made that draw, but everyone knows that was not a draw. Come on. If you look at that fight, properly, silly.
Salman, but one thing I will say is that Gennady Golovkin is coming for this fight. And you're saying, I know Canelo might stop him and that. Gennady Golovkin, this is his moment. He knows that I'm going to take Canelo on here, and I'm going to go head first, and I'm going to take him on. I'm going to put him under pressure. I'm going to make this a rough and terrible fight. Because let's be honest, there's question marks around Canelo. Bivol beat him the last fight. And Gennady Golovkin wants blood. Gennady Golovkin wants to get Canelo back. He wants to knock Canelo out. Do you think that Gennady Golovkin is going to be throwing the kitchen sink at Canelo Alvarez in this fight when he's not going to care about anything? He's going for it. He's going to be throwing bombs galore.
I think he'll throw bombs galore for as long as he can. But as I said, because of his age, you can throw bombs galore, but you are going to get tired. You can have as much adrenaline, you can have as much passion. You're going to get tired. This is a fight.
But Salman,
you're going to be getting hit back.
Golovkin's never been stopped before. It's not happening.
So maybe he might not get stopped.
But Canelo, Golovkin's like hitting a tree. You're not going to get any response. He's just an Iron Man. I can't see Gennady Golovkin getting stopped here. He's just too strong. His chin is too strong. He's very tough. He's got no quit in him. He's just a warrior.
I do think if he doesn't get stopped, he will get really badly hurt, in terms of his face will be a mess and his body will be a mess as well. Because right now, you've got to realise Canelo isn't the fighter, in terms of Canelo's filled out now. Canelo's filled out. He's properly in his prime now. He's not 26, 27. This guy is going to be punching with some, as I said, Gennady Golovkin's got to obviously prove everyone wrong, because I don't think anyone's really expecting him to win, to be honest, because of how he looked in his last fight. But maybe his last fight.
What's the game plan? What's the game plan for Golovkin here?
He just needs to look, in my opinion, to take it to him and try and knock him out, because he's going to get tired. It's inevitable.
No, but let's break it down technically and tactically. Gennady Golovkin has to put Canelo on the back foot. He needs to put Canelo on the back foot like he did the first fight and keep Canelo on his back foot. Canelo Alvarez didn't like it on the back foot. You know, Gennady Golovkin was stalking him, tiring him. Canelo tires. We know that. If Gennady Golovkin is able to put mental pressure on Canelo Alvarez and be able to hit him with big shots, and Canelo knows that this guy's got power, then Canelo Alvarez is going to tire as he does, because we know that Canelo has an issue with his stamina, especially when he's put under pressure. So does Gennady Golovkin have to put Canelo on the back foot, put him under pressure, use that jab, keep Canelo, on that back foot, and really hit him with big shots, right hands, left hooks, and really put it on him, hit him with body shots?
I'm going to be honest, I think he needs a knockout. I can't see him beating Canelo on points this time because of his age. He's just not going to be as relentless as he was 4 years ago. You know, if he's not going to be as relentless as he was 4 years ago.
But Salman, what you've got to understand, Murata put it on him early, but Golovkin came back and battered him in the end.
The thing is, obviously, Murata doesn't punch as hard as Canelo. Nowhere near as hard. You know, Murata's not on the level of Canelo. You know, Canelo hits you, it hurts. You know, if you're getting hurt by Murata's body shot, but maybe he didn't train hard enough for the Murata. Maybe he wasn't motivated. Maybe this fight might be more motivated to prove a point, so he might give that extra 20%. We just don't know. Until the fight happens, we don't know. We can only go on the past two fights. I think I seen an interview from Canelo, and Canelo said Golovkin's a great fighter, but I want to hurt him and put him away. So let's see if he actually does put him away this time. But I think if out of any of the times he's going to put him away, his best chance is now. Because he's filled out now. He's probably just as big as Golovkin, and he's in the prime of his life. Although he lost against Bivol, but I think now physically he's at the same size as Golovkin, and I think this is probably his best chance if he is going to stop him. But I think either way he'll win. To be honest, whether it's points or whether it's by a knockout.
What does Canelo have to do? What does Canelo have to do to beat Golovkin? How does he?
Literally, what he's been doing. Pound that body. Just pound that body all night long. That's going
to be the key for Canelo Alvarez. Going down to Gennady Golovkin.
I think he'll do it as well. He'll do it.
But Salman, you know what? One thing I noticed is that Canelo didn't go down to Gennady Golovkin's body in the first two fights because he was afraid of the power. He was afraid that, by going down to the body, he's leaving himself open, and Gennady Golovkin might hit him with something huge over the top.
But to be honest, Canelo really ate all the big shots Golovkin hit him with. Although, yeah, he might have been he wasn't visibly hurt where he was all stumbling all over the shot. He kind of took for being a smaller man, he took the shots quite well. He didn't get knocked out. He's a guy coming up in weight. Let's not forget about this. Now he's a guy that's filled up at that weight. So is Golovkin going to knock Canelo out? It'd have to be a real miracle, because Canelo's got a granite chin. That's one thing Canelo's known for. So it'd have to be like a miracle shot where you just get knocked cold, one of them. But it's going to be tough for Golovkin, very tough. Because whether he's going to have the engine, he's only going to know when he's in the ring with Canelo for the third time. Is he going to be able to maintain it? Is he going to be able to take all them body shots? And, I think if Canelo sees any sort of, if he starts seeing it like that hurt Golovkin, I think obviously he wants to prove a point that I can stop this guy. But let's see if he can do it. Let's see if he's got enough power and enough ferocity to knock Golovkin out.
Salman, so final predictions here. Canelo Alvarez, how do you see it? What's your final prediction?
I think Canelo Alvarez, late stoppage, probably between round 10 to 12.
Wow. Guys, my prediction is, I think this fight's going to be, it's going to be a lot more tough than what people think. I think this fight is going to be very, very tough. I think Gennady Golovkin's going to have a lot of success in this fight. I don't think it's going to be one-sided like people think. But I'm going for a Canelo Alvarez points win. I'm going 115, 113 to 116, 112 type of win for Canelo Alvarez. I think it's going to be very tough. I think the styles mesh. And I wouldn't even be surprised if we see a split decision. I wouldn't be surprised if we see another controversial decision, because I think Gennady Golovkin is still Gennady Golovkin, and I think Gennady Golovkin's style is always going to be a problem for Canelo Alvarez. And I've said this before, there's certain styles that I think would cause Canelo trouble, and I personally think that Gennady Golovkin has got the style to cause Canelo trouble, and I think I'm favouring Canelo on points, but not a huge landslide like people think. And if I'm wrong, I'll come out and say I'm wrong, but I don't see it. I don't see Canelo battering Gennady Golovkin. Gennady Golovkin is Gennady Golovkin, and Gennady Golovkin's got an iron chin. He's got an iron fist of a hand. I mean, he's going to be tough for Canelo. I think it's going to be another tough, hard-fought fight, and one that, like I said, might be another controversial fight at the end of it, like the first two were. I think these two are made for each other. I think these two have been standout fighters in the last 10, 15 years. And I think Canelo Alvarez and Gennady Golovkin are going to have another hard-fought contest. And we will see who the better man is on the night. And like I said, I wish both of them well. They've both been two great fighters, two guys that I've watched and enjoyed for the last 10 years. But like I said, I think I favor Canelo Alvarez in this one just because his age, his youth. I think he's come on a long way since they fought twice. I think he's naturally filled out. And I also think that, you know, Canelo wants it. He wants it. He's been beat by Bivol. He's been humiliated. He feels that, you know, he felt humiliated losing to Bivol because Canelo had this aura of invincibility around him. And Canelo's going to want to come back hard. So I'm going Canelo Alvarez on points in a very hard, difficult fight. Leave your thoughts, leave your predictions in the comment section below. Smash the like button, leave your predictions. I want to know your prediction in the comment section below. So yeah, leave your thoughts and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.